All right, today we're going on a pretty incredible journey, all the way back to the ancient city of Nineveh, which was home to one of the world's very first great libraries. But we're not just going to be looking at old ruins. Nope. We're going to see how some seriously cutting-edge AI technology is breathing life back into knowledge that was lost to fire and war more than 2,500 years ago. I want you to just picture this for a second. A library that holds the entire intellectual legacy of an empire, not on paper, but on thousands upon thousands of clay tablets. That was the great library of King Ashurbanipal. But then, in 612 BCE, the whole empire just collapsed. Nineveh was sacked, and the library, well, it was swallowed by flames. An entire world of knowledge, literally, turned to ash. For centuries, that idea was just impossible, right? The knowledge was gone, shattered into a million tiny, unreadable pieces. But what if we finally have a tool that's powerful enough to actually read those ashes? To hear the voices of the past? Well, that question is exactly where our story really kicks off. So first things first, we really need to get our heads around the sheer scale of this problem. Archaeologists have been wrestling with this scorched clay puzzle for more than 100 years. And believe me, it is one of the toughest challenges in their entire field. And just look at what was actually lost here. This wasn't just a collection of cool stories. These tablets had everything. Super intricate star charts, medical texts, legal codes, you name it. It was basically the complete operating system for the entire Mesopotamian empire. Losing it, well, it was like an entire civilization's mind was just wiped clean. And here's the crazy irony in how the library was destroyed. The very same fire that leveled the palace also baked the clay tablets, hardening them and preserving them almost like pottery. But that same intense heat also shattered them into thousands and thousands of fragments. So the knowledge survived, but as this nearly impossible jigsaw puzzle. For over 150 years, scholars tried to piece this puzzle together by hand, piece by agonizing piece. But now, a totally new kind of archaeologist has shown up. And it's not a person with a brush and a pickaxe. No, it's an artificial intelligence, a brand new key designed specifically to unlock the past. The tech we're talking about here is called generative intelligence. Think about those AIs that can generate images or write text from a simple prompt. It works on a pretty similar idea. It gets trained on every known fragment of cuneiform script, learning all its patterns, its language, its structure. Then it can look at thousands of disconnected pieces and basically synthesize what the complete original text probably looked like. It is perfectly suited for this kind of puzzle. And the difference this makes is just staggering. It's a total game changer. The old way meant scholars might spend their entire careers just trying to match a few fragments. It was slow, painstaking work. The AI, on the other hand, can digitally scan every known fragment at once, find connections a human might never see, and put whole texts back together in a fraction of the time. It's a quantum leap forward for archaeology. Okay, so we've got the puzzle, and we've got the tool. What happens when you put them together? Well, this is where we get to the most exciting part of this whole story, what the AI is actually finding. We're not just reading old texts anymore. We're starting to hear voices from the ashes. But you have to understand, the goal here is so much bigger than just simple translation. I mean, yeah, knowing what the tablets say is obviously important, but the researchers are aiming for something way, way deeper, something that gets to the very soul of this lost civilization. They want to resurrect a sensory experience. So what does that even mean? It means understanding not just what the ancient Mesopotamians knew, but how they knew it. How did they see the stars? How did they understand the human body? And, crucially, how did they connect all those dots? The goal is to literally rebuild the intellect of an entire culture. It's all about connecting the pieces. The AI isn't just looking at star charts by themselves or medical texts in a vacuum. It's layering what they call neural visualizations, which are basically digital maps of how ideas connect, to see the links between them. It's finding these hidden threads that tied their view of the cosmos to their understanding of themselves. And in doing so, it's reconstructing a complete worldview. So, what's the big picture here? What does all this really mean? Well, this project is way more than just incredible archaeology. It's a really powerful story about our relationship with knowledge itself and our connection to the past. To put it all in perspective, just look at this timeline. For more than 2,500 years, this knowledge was silent, gone. We are the first generation with the tools to truly bridge that enormous gap. to reach directly across millennia and actually listen to what this lost world has to say. And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? It's about bridging that violent moment in history, the absolute collapse of an empire, with something that's totally timeless and universal. That human drive to learn, to understand, and to hold on to knowledge no matter what. We often think of technology, like AI, as this thing that just rockets us into the future. And it does. But what this project proves is that it also gives us this incredible new power to reach back and reclaim our own past, restoring things we thought were lost forever. And that leaves us with a final, absolutely fascinating question to think about. The Library of Nineveh is just one treasure trove. What other lost languages, destroyed texts, or forgotten histories are just sitting out there, waiting in the archives of the world for a new kind of intelligence to finally help us understand them? What other worlds are we about to rediscover?